My name's Bianca Lopez. Right now I am trying to manufacture a children's clothing line. I also dance, not as a profession, but I get asked quite a bit to teach and choreograph dances for Sweet 16s and quinceañeras. I don't know, I have a blast doing that, I love it. And Rufino also helps me with that. He's like the guide partner for me when I need to do partner dancing. So I put him to work quite a bit. Well, I started dancing when I was 2. My grandmother and my grandfather put myself and my 2 sisters in ballet, tap and jazz at 2 and 3 years old. And I danced all the way up till I was about 14. And we used to travel to Michigan every summer and compete. And it was like a summer camp where we would spend 2 weeks at college campuses. And it was a blast. I mean, we learned a lot. We also performed and put on a recital. But it was a lot of fun. I think I spent more time, like, I guess you would say jazz, but I call it hip hop too. I loved it. It was just a blast. So I tend to spend a lot of time doing that when I am out and about or at home. But that's kind of where my dance background comes from. Okay, so, well, to touch base on my kids, everyone here obviously knows Rufino, and he's my eldest child. He is 16 years old, and there's a lot of things people don't know about him by looking at him, which is great. But he played sports pretty much his whole life, and from the time he was 5 until he was, I believe, about 13, until he broke his thumb in football and then broke his elbow sledding a month apart from each other. And that was like the end of his sports for him, because then he started here at DSA. But it's interesting. He played baseball, basketball, football, and he was on swim team for 5 years. And so he did a lot. These are things that people would never expect from Rufino, but he is very athletic as well. I love him. There's times that I do want to strangle him. I'm sure that most parents do. He's very sassy, but I would never change him. And then my second child, Amias, he is 13, and he's a great kid too. I love him. He's a visual artist. He's just, I don't know how to explain it. He's very funny and goofy. He's happy. He's a beautiful artist. I mean, for his age, I think that he is so good. He's just self-taught, so I mean, he has a lot to learn, but at the end of the day, he's super talented. He's very academically driven, and he is not athletic. He does not do anything of the sort. He does not dance, so he's a little opposite of Rufino, but I love that they're different. And then I have my 8-year-old Euladio, who is very athletic, loves football, loves soccer. He loves wrestling. That's like his all-time favorite thing, and he's pretty funny. He gets his stuffed animals and he slams them around like he's Randy Orton and they're John Cena, and it's a blast. It's hilarious to watch him. But he also loves the drum, and he'd get up every morning at 6 a.m. and hit that drum set, and I think it's great. I love it. A lot of people are like, how do you do it? And I think about how cute it is and how much passion he has for it, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. So I think it's great that my kids are exploring what their future could possibly hold, whether it's fashion or visual arts or sports or whatever it is. I don't care. I just want to be there to support them. And I'm happy that they're the way that they are. I could never ask for better kids. Here, let me squeeze by you guys real quick. I am doing a lot of fashion shows. I make a lot of samples, and I try to change up what I'm doing each time that I do something new. So recently I just did a fashion show called Music Makes Fashion. So it was an intermix of musical artists that either rapped or were R&B singers. And then we had 3 designers that were presenting, and I was the first one because I do children's clothing. But it was pretty neat. We did very, cute Lolita Japanese streetwear style, and they wore colored wigs and the little mini hats, and that was a lot of fun. I didn't have a whole lot of time to pull that together, but I think that we pulled it off well. Rufino's like my second hand, so without him, nothing is possible. But yeah, I think we had 2 weeks to get it together, and we were able to pull it off, so we were pretty proud of that. I think only having 2 weeks to prepare, it's a struggle, because when you're making 10 outfits, well, basically 20 because I made 2 per kid, that is stressful. I mean, because it's only me doing it. Hands on deck is one person, so I really just try to keep level-headed, and I just stay calm. I really try to, because it's not worth ruining everything over. But it's harder with kids because they can't dress themselves either. They tend to, like, if you were to let them, they'll just rip the clothes off, throw them on the floor. And so I have to have a few hands on deck to kind of help coordinate and keep the clothes in order and make sure the kids are getting dressed properly. And in that situation, we were doing it in a hallway, which was pretty annoying because it wasn't just a hallway, but it was at a slant. So everybody's standing on this ramp, and it's really hard when these little kids are trying to change, and we're trying not to rip the wigs off as we're taking clothes off to redress them. So I think we only had less than a minute to get them changed. So that was probably some of the more stressful parts of it, but I really try not to think about the type of stuff that can hold me back. I really just work with what I have and to make it work.